All right, a very good morning to you. It's exactly 4 minutes past the hour, and that tells you that you are in time for the show, and that is Your World. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Good to see you on this day, a few hours before we celebrate Mashujaa Day. And I will tell you the reason why this day is very significant, because I have two very powerful women with me in studio. And today we'll be highlighting the role of women as far as activism is concerned, but also in defending human rights. And we'll be celebrating them, and that is women at the front line and also the unsung. We're saying today is She Rose, okay, of Kenya's struggle, and this is as far as freedom is concerned. So we all know that the fight for a society founded on constitutional values of inclusion, equality, and social justice is very paramount. And while the Constitution of Kenya protects all Kenyans, many individuals at the front line remain vulnerable to attacks as a result of their outspokenness, their quest for justice, and their promotion of the rule of law. So today, like I said on the show, we'll be focusing on the space and the place of women in activism, the milestones, and also discuss how we can all plug in to be active citizens. All right, so very important conversation today, even as we wait a few hours before we celebrate Mashujaa Day, and also understand, so who are these people, because we see a lot of people being feted during Mashujaa Day celebrations. All right, so are there some people who should be celebrated who are not being celebrated? Okay, and who are you celebrating this morning? Okay, and this is as far as people who again have not only fought for democracy but also for our freedom. So it could be not in like big spaces but also in small spaces as well. Your local activist, okay, your local human rights defender. So who is this person that you are celebrating this morning? Share their names on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. So it's going to be an amazing conversation. These women are vocal, okay? And I was watching Mikali, one of your videos, and you said, there's some stereotypes there. Someone tells you, sasa wewe nani atakuona unakimbizana na polisi. And we have Rachel Mikali, Executive Director, Coalition for Grassroots Human Rights Defenders. Good to have you this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
making the time. You look lovely. I mean, why did you guys send me a memo?
Like it's our day, we need to glow.
Right? At least I have some bread going, so it's fine. They're like part, like this kidogo part of the same. And we also have Wanjiru, social justice activist. Good to have you as well this morning. I'm really curious about what is happening on your T-shirt. Yes.
This is Mariama and Yofan. He recently had a show celebrating Shujaa Mariama and bringing that memory back. Sababu tumesahau kidogo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure some Kenyans don't know Mariama, but we will discuss.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And why he's, I want to believe, very instrumental to have you, don a T-shirt with his face.
He is.
On. Okay. And even as we wait like a few hours to celebrate Mashujaa, I'm just going to start with you. Who are you celebrating?
Me.
Who's this person who you consider your Shujaa?
I want to celebrate from Wayaki Wahenga, all those Kenyans who've stood in line time and time again on the side of the people. From Wayaki Wahenga, Mekatilili Wamenza, Modoni Nyanjiro, the Mau Mau Field Marshal who we lost earlier this year, Mishere Mugo, Wangari Maathai. I have so many heroes.
The list is long.
The list is so long, and I think we should learn about them in our history lessons so that we keep that memory alive and we continue striving for the things that they stood for, because we are yet to get there.
Okay, and we'll get to understand, what are some of the things that then we need to get to and to hit, and this is as far as our milestones for us to say we're somewhere before we get there, okay? But before that, Mukali, again, so who are you celebrating? Who is this person?
That's a very difficult question.
I know the list is long too.
Or should I say I celebrate myself? Anyway, for me, I celebrate every woman who have been in the forefront to defend the constitution in this country. But in particular, I want to celebrate Phyllis Omindo. Is a very strong activist from Mombasa and has been working to defend the rights of the people of Owino Ouru. And also I celebrate Njeri Gateru from Legal Arc and Lorna Diaz from Gay and Lesbian Coalition of Kenya. We know currently where the country is with the politics of intersectionality, but the fact they have been brave, strong, fabulous women on the front line. I want to affirm them that we see you, we celebrate you, we hear you. Now we are together.
Okay. Yes. All right. And guess what? I celebrate you too this morning, really, because I was following your story and just listening to your place and space and the roles that you've played in your different, aspects. And it's just, it's beautiful, and it's amazing to see the work that you've done, what you have stood for, and what you continue to fight for. So I celebrate you too this morning, really, as far as women who are playing that active role, as far as activism and also human rights defenders. Because I knew we can't be like, well, human rights defenders. Okay, but before that, can we just get to understand activism here in the country? Because when you think about activism, the title itself is very contested, all right? So there's some people who will see it as a badge of honor, and there's some people who will see it as a troublemaker, okay? So for you, Mikali, what is it that you would say an activist is?
For me, an activist is someone who stands for human rights for all.
Okay.
When they see injustice happening or taking place, they're not quiet, they're able to speak. And the reason why I'm shifting this narrative of saying anyone is to remove this idea mentality of citizen not being able to be active citizen.
All right.
Because we are activists in different spaces and different individuals. There are people who are activists even within the media space. They do investigative journalism. There are people like who are activists within even religious space. We have seen even the whole thing with Shakahola. Us criticizing some religious leaders, criticizing the fact that some choose to criticize. For me, I'm like, those ones are activists. Activists are also women. For me, also, I want to be biased today with women in our own
We're celebrating women today.
Yes, we are celebrating ourselves in our own diversity. For me, it's like also Julie, the fact that the way she's young, the fact that we are also from a patriarchal system and patriarchal society where women, we are not allowed to speak, but we are allowed to, we have chosen the route of speaking. We are activists in our own rights. The kids who are able to see teachers violating other kids in school, but they're able to speak. The kids also, or anybody who challenges the system and this is not working. And for me, centering the women, the way I say now, diversity, including women living with disability, is the fact that we know the system already the way it is in our own society does not work for us, but we're able to challenge. For me, that's an activist. We don't have to have this title, you have to be seen on the street, for example, or you have to be seen in very big spaces. For me, in those little spaces that you're able to do, you're an activist. Even the community health volunteers, that they're able to champion on the rights of also the patients they take care of who are taking, let's say, ARVs. Even from the sex worker movement, people like Felisa Abdallah, who has been able to support sex workers who have been killed. Because we have realized also there's been a lot of women being killed around femicide in this country. People like Shailene from Young Women Leadership Institute. So the fact that you choose to challenge the status quo that exists, doesn't have to be through even just the government, but even within the system that work against us.
And you see, the reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of people, like we said, when you talk about activism and think about activism, we equate that to violence. Wala tunapiga kelele huko kwa streets, and create chaos, and do all those things. But I'm happy that you're saying, listen, that is one aspect of the same, and not to create chaos per se, but to ensure that you're being heard.
But I think we need to shift that narrative.
Exactly.
When people say chaos, what do you mean chaos? Because one of the things we need to agree on as activists and also as women human rights defenders, the position that we have taken in this country, even if you look in terms of the mothers of political prisoners, the moment you have tried to dialogue and it fails, there are alternative ways for you to be heard. And that means protest can be in different forms. It can be through, like on the roads. It can be also silent protests. We have seen it happening. It can be also sending petition. So kelele is not bad. Kelele is good, but we need to remove that mentality. Because also you have seen political leaders.
Can you agree that then when people are losing their lives, when people are losing their property, when people, experiencing losses in very heavy magnitudes, and I think that is where the problem is. Because utapata, it's not that the activists who are doing all those things, it's some people who get, that's the thing.
Because when people lose life, and most of the time we have seen, including ourselves, where we have asked, I remember, like, was it last year, when we had justice for Elizabeth Ekaru, a woman human rights defender who was murdered in Isiolo. And we followed all the due diligence process of even being given the notification, which is not a must. Even if you're talking about the Public Orders Act, it's not a must. But we follow all the due process. But what did the police try to do to us when we assembled in Jivanji? Intimidate us first because we exist as women. because we are women human rights defender. But if you talk about people losing their property, there's different of protester and criminals.
And that's the
so
thing.
deal
that's
with criminals, arrest criminals. Don't say protester. If people are losing life, we know police have been very breaking the law around extrajudicial killing. So all the police are accountable. Because protests are usually very peaceful.
It should be
unless
organized
police,
and peaceful.
We are usually organized. We are usually organized, but they come and distract us.
There are some people who, I see that. And the reason why, again, I'm saying that, because you know, the connotation still around activism and why people sometimes take to the streets, because if you're not being heard when you're trying to engage them, you have to find other ways. Like I was telling you before we came on air, I was watching one of your videos online, and there was one where I don't know whether to say whether you were almost arrested or you were arrested, but kuingia ndani ya gari, like the whole process was. And one of the things that you were asking is, first of all, don't I have a right to protest? Because that aspect of a right and what we have as a people, as citizens, I think there's a bit of a disconnect, right? Where as long as there is a gathering, someone will always come and, you know, create chaos and disturb, you know, a little bit here and there. So then to what level should we understand our rights, first of all, as citizens, as a people, and as women, because we're celebrating women today, to understand their rights, that police, for example, would see people taking to the streets and not bother them, have them and allow them that space to protest and protest peacefully until they're, you know, they are heard, if we can say that.
Let me be biased like Mwikali on the aspect of women. When rights are violated, I think the women get the hard bit of it. For example, speaking for Mashinani, when young men are arrested, it is the mothers that bear the heavy burden of kutafuta bail, kutafuta lawyer. It is the wives of these persons that shughulika about them. And most of the time it's just extortion. 100% of the time it's just extortion. Siku hizi huko mtaani ukibambwa 5K 10K. So we are trying to say, listen, when you're arrested, you have a right, first of all, to know why are you being arrested. You have to be there 24 hours max, and then you're taken to court. Like just letting people know, because, you know, we keep referring to the Constitution as the new Constitution, new Constitution. It is now, it's not new anymore. We need to really internalize and understand these rights so that we can realize them together. If this policeman knew that the Constitution gives me my right to protest, and he should actually be protesting me, he wouldn't be asking me, why are you protesting? He should be protecting me. Actually, the police should protect protesters as they go out, because we give out a notice and say, on this day, we are aggrieved about this, and we would like to go and present our grievances and petition, and we request your protection. And police have given us protection previously, like in the first Sabasaba of 2018. But now I think consecutive Sabasabas, it's been, so this is actually an organizing space, and potentially has the potential to rally more Kenyans every other Sabasaba. So I think they're cracking down on that, and now it has turned violent, it has turned to be something else. But as women, because it's about our children, it's about our partners, it's about our family, we really have to know, what does the law of the land say? We must know. There's no excuse. And a lot of institutions give katibas for free. Uraya, for example, Katiba Institute, we can get these constitutions. And also Lucia has a podcast where she explains these rights to people, the constitution bit by bit. So there's really no excuse to not know our rights. For people not to understand their rights. And that is very, very important. But now let's talk about then the place of women. Because again, like you said, women take up several, you know, roles. Women would stand up for what they believe in. Because when you look at some of these challenges, yes, the men are affected, but the women and children are affected the most. So a lot of women would say, so chaos, first of all, and like we said, chaos does not have to be bad, okay? Mikali is looking at me. Okay, so chaos, there's a bit of danger, because then you don't know. You're out there on the streets. You don't know what's going to happen. We have seen women who've lost their lives. We have seen men who've lost their lives. Also seen children who've lost their lives, and they were not actively at the scene. So a lot of women would tend to shy away and just say, you know what, no, thank you. I choose to stay behind and protect
me and my family. Okay, so you two being very active, you know, in you know, human rights defenders, you know, and as an activist, what would you say the place of women is, and what is it that women need to know as far as activism and also, you know, protecting and defending human rights? What does this space look like for women?
Very, very good question. And for me, as a woman, I feel betrayed by this country. Tulicheswa. One, the space of women is in the liberation struggle or in the social justice struggle. The reason why I'm saying this and why we chose even this year to celebrate Mashujaa Love Festival and focusing with the intersectionality of women diversity celebration, Shiros, as Shiros or Femininja, is because during the liberation struggle for the struggle of this country, women history was erased. The way most of us know Mekatilili Wamenza, the way we know Wambui Otieno, the way we know Professor Michere Mugo, or the way we know even Julie and myself, Akinamombi and the rest of the women who have been playing critical role, we are being put in this narrative that we are not good women. It's okay, we are not good women, but also we make you people enjoy your freedom in this country. You're good women. You're fighting for. We are good women. Also, we are very beautiful women. Yes. So you find. No, you're not bad. Because of patriarchy. Also, you go here in town. The statues you see, they are not of women liberator. That's why I'm saying, if you're to celebrate the real Mashujaa of this country, it has to be gender equality perspective. Because we know clearly the role these women played even in the liberation struggle. Some of them were able to support in terms of strategies in ensuring that the colonialists were able to be played and getting the information to give the comrades like Akina Kimathi and the rest. We have seen people like the late Michere Mugo, who we celebrated this year. Her role, even the way she was, Kenya like denied her of saying you're not ours, and she had to go to exile to Zimbabwe and many African countries, and also at the same time abroad. But also we have seen ourselves with the current way of organizing, where we do so much for this country, but we are not recognized in terms of appreciation, in terms of even big visibilize and celebrating us as their own prophets. We are quick celebrating problematic people, I would say, or politicians, seeing them as our Shujaa, but we should shift this narrative and see that, for example, when you talk about injustice in this country, and most of the even protests in this country, they've been led by women. It's true. It reminds me also around something that I'm very passionate around, ending femicide, where it's killing of women. When we started Justice for Sharon, that was 2018 when Sharon was murdered. And we have seen also there are many women who have been murdered, even Caro, Masikeino. We have seen also like even Erica, like people are defending their own diversity being murdered, but when we speak, you're being criminalized from the politics of moral versus immorality. So you find that already the fact we exist as women, the system, the way it's designed is to erase what we have done. And not only just in Kenya, but even in Africa, where women play a critical role, but the men are very strategic. No hate with men. And at the same time, you're taking back our power. And that's why we are saying, when you're celebrating Mashujaa, because the space also, it has become very male-dominated. We want to bring the power that we know clearly women have been organizing powerful. There are strategies even now, in different spaces, women are saying, even within the sector of civil society and even in the country, we should learn, let's say, learning community collective care, even issues to do with mental health, but we are like, clearly women have been doing these things. Women, we have been having these strategies, or even in chamas or in communities where we're able to visit each other and support each other and being there for each other. We are the same women when we get married. Our names are taken away and our identity. People will not identify you with your name, but they'll say Mama Nani. And in your real sense, Ama Bibi Nani. And nobody says Buana Nani Yarecho unless you are powerful. Yes, men take credit when you're powerful for the idea of you and not the person in you. And that's why it's very critical for us as women activists and coming here with Julie, which is also an honor. We're all of us from Mathare. So Mathare has an history of even Mamau organizing and even protest organizing in this country. So one of the things we are coming to also challenge the state is saying, celebrate the real Shiros. Ruto, where is the camera for status? This one. Celebrate the real heroes. We are the real heroes. But at the same time, seeing when you talk about active citizenship and when you tell people about public participation, we are the same people who mobilize our own community to go and do public participation. We are the same people who talk about governance issue. Because at the same time where we live, as a low-income area, we have no luxury of saying, I'm only defending this one and leaving this one. We have no that luxury. And that's why for us, organizing in a level that we are like, because we understand what discrimination feels like. What being excluded feels like. And that's why we'll see as women in every struggle, what I'm a journalist, we come.
Oh yeah, it's
and
support.
It's not easy.
It is not
supporting the rights of journalists because of also, there's a role you people also play in visibilizing even our struggles now. That we're able to teach other young people and young girls that it's okay to resist. It's okay to resist violence. It's okay.
And it's okay to question as well.
And to question.
And
it's okay to separate in a relationship you're not happy.
I mean, listen, there's so much that we can discuss about that. Okay, we're about to go on a break very but I did not want to go before, you know, we get your point. Yes, as far as the place of women, what does that look like now in this country as far as activism is concerned, especially for a woman?
As far as activism is concerned, it is very hopeful. There are a lot of women grassroots organizers and mobilizers that are actively studying to understand the context, because I feel that has been a missing aspect also. Actively studying and grounding ideologically to understand why is it that we in Mathare and Mukuru and wherever our lives are like this, and just across the road there's that forms the basis for our struggle. So we understand why where the rain started beating us. The other thing is women are banding, they're coming together and uniting towards our common struggles for social justice. The panelists that you had earlier were brilliant, talking about the Mavuko evictions, and I was reminded of the Mukuru eviction, which today it's still very sad that the people of Mukuru live like they're in a refugee camp in our own country. So speaking to the betrayal of the people, which has been there since the 1900s of the land. So women continue to mobilize, women continue to organize, and they give me so much hope. Every politician in this country has women mobilizers because they know if you want to bring a crowd, tafuta wamama watakuletea watu. So wamama wamejiorganize na wanajiconsolidate. And I really around the corner, the women are coming.
I really like that. I really like that there is a space for them, and we're happy that so far the milestones that have been hit by these women. But then when we're talking about women, we're not only celebrating women, but there is also that support that is being offered by the men. So we cannot say,
me even I am wearing
right?
Can
we do that after the break? Because I want to really understand how that support looks like and what exactly is missing when we're talking about support these women who are taking these very important roles, and this is speaking for the people and standing for what they believe in. So what exactly does this support look like? And then also something that you mentioned in one of the other interviews was investment. So what sort of investments need to be put to support these women? So much to come on the other side of the break. Stay with us. The show is Your World, but keep interacting with us on our socials at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X. See you on the other side.
There's a lot going on at the moment in this house.
The true identity is uncovered in the brand new unmissable Zari. Starts 23 October. Only on Maisha Magic Plus, channel 163 on DSTV Access, GoTV Plus, channel 3.
Show off your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. Now with 5-in-1 complete care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying, with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin. Step out in confidence with our most complete care from the world's #1 skincare brand.
What's that?
I brought you a small bonus.
Bonus for what?
You got us 299 family dinners, 64 kisses on the cheek, 12 road trips to see grandma, 42 jokes from daddy, 49 laughs from mommy.
In over 60 years of dealing with numbers, we've learned that the numbers that matter the most to you are the ones that matter the most to us. NCBA Bank. Go for it.
Reach your audience instantly and make a lasting impression with Nation Sema. Affordable SMS at 0.3 Kenya shillings. Own sender ID for 10,000 Kenya shillings plus 10,000 free SMS. To sign up, please call 0790 111 111 or email us on nationsema@ke.nationmedia.com.
What's your relationship with pain? What's your relationship with change? What is your relationship with finances? Do you get knocked out or do you go with the punches?
Kitovu cha vizazi ni baba mzazi. Unafaa kuzingatia nini kabla hujalitia guu lako ndani?
Join us for the third edition of Man Cave.
Tuchambue, tutadavue nyama na mdahalo wake. Maswala ya wanaume peupe.
And this time, we have an amazing after party session from 7 p.m. till midnight. And we'll have great music, great food, and also fireside chats. And for you guys who want to spend the night over, well, definitely, we have the plan for you.
Tarehe 28 mwezi wa Oktoba mwaka 2023. Ungana nasi hapa All Tepes Picnic Site kwa sherehe bab kubwa.
When men meet, change happens.
What is it? There's going to be an automotive crisis soon. And it's going to hit us quite hard.
I'll see if I can come up with a solution that will make everybody happy.
But keep this in mind. I will not allow our family to be broken apart.
Oh, darn. Yes, Grandpa. Could you forgive me and forget those bad memories?
But I
want to be a better person, Natalia. Please help me.
What are you doing here, Diego Cáceres? Natalia already told you that she doesn't want to see you again.
This is Rodrigo, Mother.
Oh, Rodrigo.
Right.
Well, that's even worse. Get out of here.
Head over heels.
Head over heels in association with Ariel.
Mi upata clean and fresh results. Promotion moja tu. Ariel ndio siri yangu. Sasa story yangu iko popular sana.
Ariel, usafi bora kwa mwosho mmoja tu.
Rongo University Chancellor, Council, University Management Board and Senate cordially invite you to the 8th graduation ceremony for the conferment of degrees and award of diplomas and certificates by the Chancellor of Rongo University on 19th October 2023 starting at 9 a.m. at the university main campus graduation ground. The theme of graduation is Empowered as Innovators for a Sustainable Tomorrow. Follow the proceedings live on NTV and all the NTV social media platforms. Rongo University, the gold mine of knowledge and innovation.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and get started.
All right, welcome back. How many minutes past the hour? 33 minutes past the hour. Time really flies. Okay. And today it's all about the role of women as far as activism and defending human rights is concerned. And like we're saying, today we're celebrating these women who are at the front line, who have taken up this spaces to make sure that they're fighting for justice, for equality, for human rights, at the end of the day. And we're also looking at some of those challenges that the same women face and what is it that we can do to support them, okay? And what exactly does that support look like? Because like I said, these are the unsung heroes in Kenya's struggle for freedom. So we're celebrating them today. And like I asked, who are you celebrating today, even as we gear, towards Mashujaa Day, which will be tomorrow, and it will be celebrated in Kericho County. And of course, the theme is universal health coverage, and I'm really curious to see what you both have to say as far as that is concerned, because this is one of the things that women face as well, and this is as far as access to health. Okay, so we finished with we finished with Wanjira. Okay, so like we're talking about support and how support is very important. I want to hear from you. So being in this field, and this is as far as defending human rights are concerned, what is missing as far as support? What exactly has been sort of like and when we're talking about support, and like I said, you mentioned in one of the interviews that proper investments need to be put to make sure that these women are supported. So what exactly is missing, and what kind of support should be put? Okay. Yeah.
So that's a very good question. And the fact that also the celebration tomorrow focuses on universal health coverage, which I'll talk about it later. But in terms of what is missing is the collective community care. Okay. Collective community care from the communities we come from our families, because the work we do is very intense and comes with a lot of risk, which many people don't know. A lot of risk being threatened, a lot of risk being victimized, a lot of risk when even you go to look for jobs, you're not given jobs because you're told you'll bring problems to either our company or our institution, mental health issues because the cases you deal on, if it's gender-based violence, you're a first responder in the case. If it's about also, some of us have gone to exile, even me have gone to exile in 2019 because of the work on human rights. And you find even investment around resourcing, because a lot of also grassroots activists who are women human rights defender or feminist activists, they operate in an environment that has different layers of vulnerability. Because first you're fighting as a woman in this country. Secondly, you're fighting because you're defending other people. And when I mean people, is human beings. And you find when there's no investment, it gets to a point, it becomes difficult. And it becomes difficult because of investment includes even support system. Because even for me, I really want to acknowledge the people who have been there for me. Because there are times that are low, there are times that are high. People will see, oh, Mwikali, you're there, you just got in there. And this is more than 10 years of investment from people who are also identified as activists and activists from community. Because if it was not from my community, I would have not been here. Because they're the ones who will motivate you when you're low. They're the ones who will listen to you, will take care even of you when also you are sick. So you find that gap is what also becomes an issue, and also when the government now starts criminalizing you. I remember when we were doing just Solidarity for Burundi in 2014, I was arrested here at Tomboya. And because I was defending a woman hawker who was working on the street. But by the time we're getting to Central, all the charges are turned against me. I was put incitement to violence, charges on incitement to violence. I was put a charge of illegal assembly and assaults. So you can imagine, because of my role of defending a woman who was being abused by city askari, all the charges have turned against me. So you can imagine having this kind of charges and you're arrested, let's say, in town, and then your case is transferred, let's say, in Isiolo. The kind of even logistics that you have to move, it frustrates you. So you see, those are the gaps, but at the same time, women are organizing more effectively. And at the same time, when you ask in terms of even what needs to be done, even having this conversation is important. And the fact that NTV, you've been giving even us sort of airtime to be able to talk to the public, these are the information that is needed even to center our stories. That we have Julie, we have Mwikali, we have, let's say, Jacinta in Madare, or we have Kamene or Clementina Shima, like people who are doing this real work, or Ikal from Friends of Lake Turkana. So you find the moment we are not centering us into this convention becomes harder. And when we talked about universal health coverage, a biggest issue that also is affecting us women human rights defender. I'm a strong advocate of sexual reproductive health and rights. And you find, and I'm in court.
You do everything.
I do everything. But I'm passionate with women issues because it sticks. You find like in this country where we are, we know like yearly 464 women die because of unsafe abortion. Abortion is not illegal in Kenya, it's restricted, which is that women should not die. We know clearly when you talk about universal health coverage, it talks about even teenage pregnancy, like the number of women who died when giving birth, But currently we're in a country that is very problematic with religious fundamentalism that is preventing women on their choice and also gender politics in terms of even accessibility of even contraceptive, family planning, which shouldn't be the case. And when we come, for example, with this thing we are calling family protection bill, which shouldn't be existing, it takes away the agency of women even accessing family planning, accessing contraceptive. So you find as women human rights defender, we're also suffering, we're not accessing this universal health coverage because it does not work in favor of us in our own identity as women. And that's why, for example, universal health coverage should exist, should as its intersectionality perspective and from a woman's perspective. So you find there's a lot happening, but also what is in there tomorrow, as we're organizing our own Mashuja, tomorrow at Alliance Francais, where Julius will be the MC, in terms of celebrating ourselves, because we can't wait people to celebrate us. If they're not celebrating us, we'll celebrate ourselves. And we invite Kenyans to come and join and celebrate us and celebrate with our families. And celebrate with our loved ones.
No, seriously. And I would pick your brain more in terms of then what is it that you want to see? Because see, there's one thing to say, because there's a pilot project as far as UHC is concerned in 4 counties. The president is going to launch, I think, should be like the rollout of the same across the country. So there's one thing to say, so we are rolling out, and there's another thing to see this services, you know, exactly the implementation. So what is it that you want to see from, you know, the launch tomorrow and all those things? But again, let's speak to you, Wanjira. So when we're talking about support and how then we can drop in, because like, I know we're celebrating women and we cannot overemphasize the sacrifices, you know, that the women have put to, first of all, be where they are today. But we also are fighting for equality. And we cannot shove the men away and say, you stay there as we're fighting for our space, Kwanzaa, and then you can come in later on. There has to be that unison, if I can say that. So then what exactly does support look like, and based on your experience and on your journey as a young woman who's taking up this very huge role and responsibility to fight for justice? So what is it that, how would you feel supported?
Wow, that's a great question. From my organizing space with the current young generation, there's actually a lot of support from our male comrades, from Kongamano Lama. I even feel like naming them. There's a lot of solidarity from Sungu, from Kinuthia, from CPK, from Brian, from YSL and Githurai Justice Center. Like recently, last Saturday, I was having an event on celebrating Field Marshal Muthoni. And we watched a documentary on Mau Mau, and Lewis Maganga and Kinuthia were the one now contextualizing for the community. So that makes me feel supported. It was so nice. They did a really good job. There's also something else that I'm writing on the side and in consultation with them. And there's that. And also my mentor is a man.
Good thing. Look at that.
Working
together.
And I was having this conversation with Jerry Kabeberi the other day when she was asking me, so who's your women mentor? And I told her, actually, my mentor has been Gasheke. Gasheke Gashi is the coordinator of Mathare Social Justice Center. And Jerry also, I think she felt like, I have to mentor you, Angela. What do you mean there are no women mentoring you? Yeah, so from that side of our generation, I think the male are embracing women and their potential and just working with that journey. But the older generation, my experience has not been the same. It has been very challenging, me being very vocal, me asking questions. It's been very, hey, it's been bad.
What happened? What happened?
Just for me, you know, it was crazy that I had not woken up to the realization we are living in a patriarchal society, because I come from a family that has been very respectful of me as a woman, my father in particular, and my elder brother who was killed by police, and my other brothers. I'm the only girl. So I have received a lot of a very good family support. Until now, I stepped out to the community and I am meeting with all these men. And suddenly you're a woman and I am curtailed. You know,
unapiga kelele.
Unapiga kelele sana, unauliza discrimination on the basis of being a woman. That was really bad to experience. But what we really need now is that support and acknowledging that we all need each other. I really do not like it to make it a gender war, but I acknowledge that we live in a patriarchal society, that women are subjugated, and the men kind of have it easier, in all honesty, because even when there's always that notion that you will get married, you're going to be all right, your husband will take care of your bills, which is really
sometimes
incorrect. In this Ruto economy,
things are hard. We always ask, what are you bringing to the table?
So the other support that we need is supporting the grassroots. I'm telling you, we do so much work. I kid you not. We do a lot of work.
And you don't necessarily get paid for the same,
The other day we were saying, should they make, like the way the government wants to compensate community health workers, I think human rights defenders need to have that conversation. Because it's a lot of voluntary work that no one pays. It's a lot of work. It's really passion driven, but the intermediaries that we are able to have, preventing deaths even, like extrajudicial executions, rushing people to hospital. It's a lot of work that makes me just really respect all human rights defenders when I sit back and just look at all the work everyone's doing. I just have so much respect for them, and I celebrate them, all of them, from Mukuru, Kibera, Mathare, Dandora, Githurai, Turkana, everywhere.
Yes, okay. But understanding the intensity, because you're here, you're in the fields, you really understand what this looks like, and we're discussing about this during the break and say, maybe there's that young girl who's watching you and thinking, you know what, I want to be like Mikali, you know, I want to be like Wanjira, but they might not really understand and appreciate the struggle, first of all, in itself, and not the pressure, but the risk. Risk, I think, is the word. Does it get to a point where sometimes you're asking yourself, then what is the point of all this? Okay, like, do you have those moments? Because you're human beings at the end of the day. And what is that moment like for you, where you're like, what is the point? What is the point of all this? I can as well just give up, nitafute tu kazi ingine, and then have a quote-unquote easier life where there's no kelele, there's no risk. The risk is less. What are some of those moments for you?
I think for me that moment was this year with the Kaluma bill, the Family Protection Bill. I was like, what is this again? And looking where we are progressing with rights and coming with a bill that criminalizes even single mothers. And we know clearly our families are complicated, including my family. Hey, African families, we know clearly they are very complicated. They are polygamous, single, like we are a mixture of cocktail of our diversity in our own marriages and our families. So when I saw that bill, I was like, after fighting, we are from fighting the reproductive health policy. Now Kaluma, you go again. And thinking for me, being a human rights lawyer, and seeing that even when you're doing justice for Sharon, the person also stood with us was Kaluma. But at the same time, I'm like, why being brainwashed by white people to come and fight the rights of black women in your own country? You should not be in that point of, we are here again, you get it? At the same time, you're like, we are dealing with a lot of high cost of living, but at the same time, doing this work, and every time you're doing it, and that's why it comes also to other women, and every woman who is an activist will tell you this, you fight, you're seen you're the problematic one. Every time you speak,
it's true.
You're the noisy one, you're the problematic one. But what gives me hope is that the things that you speak about, when you get resistance, you know you're doing the right thing. And if there's a girl who's watching, whatever you're doing, and you're getting resistance, it means you're doing the right thing. And you should continue pushing, you should not give up. But at the same time, we can't do it alone. Community is important. And when I say community is everybody, because at the end of the day, even if you have a therapist and you come to a community that is not supportive, even if you have a church leader who listens to you, or a father or a mother, and then your community care is not there for you, it's a lonely. I'll not tell to you that it's not a lonely process.
It really could be lonely.
Because for me, that 2019 when I was away, I had an option of not coming back to Kenya. But I was like, at the end of the day, Sweden is good, but I have to go back to Kenya.
You're fighting
because at the end of the day, what I'm fighting is what Professor Michelle Mogo, Field Marshal, and even Wambui Otieno, because even I was trying to even study Wambui Otieno life.
Okay.
I'm seeing the things she went through is the same thing we are going through.
Going through. Okay.
Even a victimization, even around her love life. And I'm like, this shouldn't be the case. So whatever she left the war, we should continue.
And there's something that she picked from her, and you will continue the same. And someone who's watching you would also learn from your story.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we have 4 minutes that we need to end the conversation. Time flies, I know. But even as we gear towards tomorrow and, you know, the whole conversation about UHC, I think the bigger question for me is then how do we stay consistent? And I know you're very passionate about history, and especially for Gen Zs, you know, for them to understand where we came from, where we are right now, and what is it that we need to do to get to the level where we want. Because like we began the show and you said, we are yet to get there. So then how do we stay consistent, and how do we have so many people and even young women, you know, included, especially in today's conversation, to take up that role and be very active citizens who are not intimidated by, you know, the risk as far as activism is concerned. And I think I'll take that as your parting shot. Can you do that in the
I think information is very key and understanding our history, because all of these things that we are dealing with right now have a historical context and perspective.
Came from somewhere.
So for Gen Z watching, please go and watch Liberating Minds podcast. It's my history channel where from the time the colonialists came, that interaction, we discuss and we get to explain it. The other thing is in conviction. I swear, deep down, everybody knows right and wrong.
That's true.
Deep down.
That's
deep
true.
down, everybody knows. And then I think as activists, we have that picture of where we want to see or what our country should be like. And that is why we continue to strive every day towards heading there, where there's no injustice, where social justice is a right, where universal healthcare is not a problem, where corruption is, you know, all these things that we experience right now. The other thing that we have to continue being consistent is to remember, remember how Mekatilili, all those people, Mekatilili, the Mau Mau, Mishere, Field Marshal Modoni, everybody stood in the line to fight for us now that are here today. And now we have an obligation to fight for the
generation
for the future. Let us write a love letter to the future of our kind. That is my parting shot.
That's a beautiful thing to think about. Like, because then it puts some sense of responsibility and accountability for all of us. That yes, I'm here today. I might not be here in the next 100 years to come. What is it that I want to see and have and legacy, you know, so that the future generations can also enjoy what we're enjoying right now. That's really nice. That's very powerful. Thank you so much, Wanjira. Okay, Wikali, what would you say as far as taking up this role, so that we're not intimidated and say, hey, activists, because we have seen some who unfortunately have been killed.
Yes.
Others have, again, gone into exile and, you know, never, others have disappeared, okay? So how do we create that environment where we are in a country where people feel safe to protest, people feel safe to stand for what is right, people feel safe to voice out their issues and demand for accountability? What would you say?
I think one, we should also recognize that we have institutions like Defenders Coalition who support also activists. We have Amnesty. We have a couple of organizations, but at the same time, the main protection comes from community.
The community,
and is that the community should acknowledge when things happen, we have to do it collectively.
Okay.
And me, I give Mathare people, we are known for this, of community struggle. And Kondamana is not a bad thing. Every Kenyan has a right to protest, and you should protest, especially where we are in this country, but peacefully,
Okay.
With the way we have been protesting peacefully. But at the same time, the thing that I would want is the judiciary not to criminalize activists.
Okay.
We've been seeing a lot of judiciary, and the police also harassing us sexually when they arrest us. Also, that's the other thing that we need also to call out from police. They harass women activists sexually. And then the other thing, maybe I'd like the public also to support, the same way you support your religious leaders.
Okay.
Every month with 10% and taking care of them. And I'm not saying shakaola, religious leaders. The same way you take care of your prophets, take care of women activists as your prophets.
All right.
Let's ensure like we push to have statues of women activists in our museums, in our public spaces, in our roads. If there's something I'm like we should push now, is having even Professor Mishere Mogo statues here. Even the current activists that we live, because also we don't need to celebrate people when they're dead.
Okay.
Celebrate us
When
and
they're
support us.
still alive. Okay.
And let's continue pushing and speaking truth to power collect. We should not fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
like
we are
that.
many, it becomes protection.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. I like that. Okay.
You should not even just do it.
Do it. Yes.
Like, because you see, women also, when when women organize themselves, you see how things move.
That's true.
So we need to do the same. So not to say, imagine if I was that person.
Yeah.
Let's do it collectively.
Let's do it in our own different spaces.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I see that. And again, in the interest of time, allow us to put a pause, okay? Yes. Because this is a conversation that we need to have continuously. But for now, allow us to say thank you so much for your time and for your contribution this morning and reminding us where women stand as far as justice is concerned and activism and all those things. So we celebrate you, like I said, when we started the show. So thank you so much, Rachel Mikali, Executive Director, Coalition for Grassroots Human Rights Defenders, and also Anitwa Shujam Tani, okay? And Wanjira as well, social justice activist. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. Has been an amazing conversation, and we hope that we continue with the same. But for now, allow us to say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Enjoy the rest of your day. A happy Mashujaa Day tomorrow, and enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Goodbye.